Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this morning's CSCB coffee hour. We're very glad to be joined by Russ Means and Michael Cunningham, both with the Division of Reclamation and Mining Safety. Today, they'll be sharing information about the Active Mines program and the ways in which conservation districts are involved in the mining permit application notice and the review process. So they said that they're comfortable with fielding questions as they come. So if you have one, drop it in the chat or raise your hand and we'll be sure to get to those. And we'll also save time for a Q&A at the end. So definitely have your questions ready because it's nice to have these folks in the room available to field those questions right now. And so with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Russ and Michael. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Russ Means, as noted, and stuff. I'm the program director for the Division of Reclamation, Mining, and Safety's minerals program. And so my team and stuff looks over all of the active hard rock and construction materials permitting, reclamation permitting in the state. And with me and stuff is Michael Cunningham. I'll let him introduce himself. So,
good morning, everybody. I'm Michael Cunningham. I'm a senior environmental protection specialist out of our Denver office.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and share our screen with you and go through our PowerPoint. If some of you were at the commissioners meeting and stuff in Mancos and stuff a couple weeks ago, you'll have seen this, so it'll be a little bit repetitive for others that weren't there. And that we'll go through this and kind of explain what the purpose of what we're doing here is for, and we'll go from there. So with that, the division and the Mine Land Reclamation Board and stuff over the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years and stuff, has been hearing from the from different stakeholders and stuff about the public notice process that's involved in new applications, as well as amendments and stuff and that to our reclamation permits. So we've taken on a project and stuff in that to kind of modernize that a little bit, and this is one of the first steps in doing that. So as noted and stuff, we're responsible for ensuring permitting of mines and reclamation and returning it back to a beneficial use. Our staff consists of 18 team members with multiple science disciplines in engineering, geochemistry, geohydrology, geology, soils, reclamation, and restoration. We overlook over 2,300 mines in Colorado for construction materials, coal, and hard rock. And one of the biggest things and stuff I like to put out there, because a lot of people don't know this and stuff, is we hold over $750 million in reclamation bonds to ensure and stuff that the permits and stuff that are issued and stuff can be reclaimed once the mining is done. So our public notice process is what we're focusing on today. Public notice requirements play an important role in our permitting process and are in place to ensure transparency and to afford interested members of the public to an opportunity for their voices to be heard. The rules concerning public notice requirements were established at a time when the permitting process was exclusively hard copy documents, and we sent them out through the Postal Service. The public notice requirements are set in statute and rule, so any changes that we contemplate and stuff will have to require possible legislation or at a minimum rulemaking. So some of our what's driving this is changing demographics. Colorado's population continues to grow, and communities are increasingly located close in proximity to mining operations and to resources and stuff that are required in that for construction materials and the like. Applications for new mining operations are increasingly receiving citizen comments and objections. When I started out 20 years ago, if you had objections of over 10 to 20 people, that was like a really big deal. Now it's not. It's very common for us to have 200, even up to 700 objections and stuff to an application if it's close to a subdivision or something that's sensitive. So that just exponentially and stuff, and that has created more work, but it also stuff that demonstrates the stuff that public notice processes and stuff of that are working to some extent. So yeah, one of the big things and stuff is members of the public are more adept at utilizing electronic resources. So neighborhood chats, those kind of things help spread the word. If there's some kind of public notice on a new mining operation that's close by, and so we get comments and stuff from people that are 3, 4, 5 miles away from the mine and stuff, when the original purpose of these notices were for the people that were immediately adjacent to the mining project. So anyway, state agencies are now using or are looking for better ways to communicate between each other and the public in a transparent and as way as possible. So what we were doing and stuff in that is we're embarking on a project to improve the required notice process for permit applications. This is a project that's part of the governor's widely impactful goals for DRMS and for the Department of Natural Resources. It's a goal that we came up with and set for ourselves, and that to try to see what we can do and stuff to improve our processes. So it's a multi-phase kind of a project. The first one and stuff phase and stuff is really outreach with agencies such as yourselves, and to improve timeliness of notices and gaining meaningful responses. And what we're doing here is we're asking, what can we do to make your comments more meaningful and also help in the timeliness of getting them? And that another part of that is outreach to other stakeholders to identify areas to improve notice processes. What can we do to make notices easier to find and submit timely comments? And then the third part of this and stuff, which is kind of out there after we've done all this, is to identify the issues and impacting and how they impact the permitting process. But we also need to keep in mind and stuff that we have to ensure that applicants have a reasonable expectation for review timeliness and what type of comments come in. We don't want to be in a situation where we create something where we're on a hamster wheel where every step we make, we're getting more and more comments, and it just slows down our processes. So, and our phase 2 and stuff is where can we improve quickly? Part of that is to initiate a better notice process and stuff with agencies. We've started something called e-notifying and e-responses in that to help agencies understand all of our roles. And our first measurable here and actually is to improve agency response to application notices. When we did a quick and dirty look at how many notices we send out versus how many responses we get back, we were only getting about 18% back and stuff on those comments and stuff. And so we need agencies and stuff in that to give us back comments and stuff in that, because what the public does and stuff is the first thing they say is, did you talk to this agency? Did you talk to that agency? And we send a notice, and then it's like, yeah, we sent them a notice, but we didn't get anything back. So that's one of the things and stuff we're trying to improve and stuff in that right up front. The other thing and stuff that we've come up with is we've developed QR codes with application and notices for the public for better engagement and transparency. It's rolling out right now, but if you come up to a new public notice, there's a QR code. You can go to that, hit that QR code, and it'll take you directly to a link and stuff so that you can look at that application and stuff that's on file and under review, and that so you don't have to fumble through websites and everything else and stuff for that, so it's made that it seems like that's working very well. And the other thing and stuff that we wanted to do and stuff is improve our own website to be more user friendly for all. We brought it up when we first brought it up. We started adding things and stuff that were, oh, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. Well, we ended up with things and stuff. Just it's like the junk drawer in your house. It had everything in it, but you had to go through and dig around in it. So we've done I think a great job and stuff in categorizing things, putting them under banners and stuff like that to make it a little bit more friendly, or at least not so sore on your eyes. So, and I just realized the stuff in that, speak up if you have a question because we can't see with what we've got up, so we can't see hands up or anything else. So, and finally, the third phase of this is looking at our act and our rules. Once we have reached out to all of the agencies that we feel are important and talked to stakeholders and identified issues, we're going to take a look at stuff of what we can and can't do. As noted and stuff, if it's something to do with rulemaking, we can go into rulemaking anytime we want to and change things and modify things and stuff. And actually, in a couple of rulemakings that we've done over the last couple of years, we've kind of addressed some of these issues. But there are some things and stuff that are buried in statute, and in order to do that, that requires legislative work and is a far more arduous process. So what's the most important stuff in that about agency notices is that just like public notices and stuff, agency notices play an important part of our review process. Agency comments and stuff are valuable in that they help us and stuff with site-specific information and identify issues and stuff that the applicant may need to address. Under our rules and that, in several different exhibits and stuff, they have to talk about, for this group, about the soils, about how the reclamation and re-veg and those kind of things and stuff and that. Well, a lot of times in the soil exhibits and stuff, they pull things and stuff out of the Soil Conservation Commission and stuff that may have been printed like back in the 1960s or 70s. You've all seen those reports. And that may be fine, but on the other hand and stuff, that we may have a site and stuff that does not fit that generalized description, and there may be information and stuff there that the division and the applicant might need to be aware of and stuff, and that as they're preparing these reclamation plans, that will help them and stuff in the future and stuff for better reclamation success. Unfortunately, the Act and rules don't afford agencies any additional time over the public comment period in that. So for a 110 application, which is 9.9 acres or less, that's only 10 days after the publication of the notice and stuff in the newspaper. And for bigger sites, the 112s, it's 20 days after a 4-week publication in the newspaper. So there's more time for the bigger ones, but it could be a pretty short turnaround on those 110s. Under the old system and stuff of what we had, we would put these notices in the mail, and a lot of times it's stuff in that some of our agencies and others and stuff wouldn't get these notices and stuff until maybe they had a day or two to comment. Under this new system and stuff with e-notify, the minute we call it complete, we submit the things and stuff for the notices to go out. You get that notice and stuff, so you're getting it not only as quick as possible, but you're also getting a few extra days there because it takes a few days and stuff for the applicant and stuff for that to get a publication in the newspaper. And so that's our goal and stuff, is to try to get it in the people's hands that need it, and that as quickly as possible so that they have the best opportunity and stuff to comment. So this is the old notice and stuff that we had, and you may get this and stuff from the operator and it just basically just gives you the general information and stuff that's there, and like I said, it's kind of an older form in that. But what we've done is we've gone to, this is what you'll get as an email and that, and we just pulled this one right out of the file and stuff and that. This was just a couple of months ago, well, in October, I guess it's a year. So, but anyway, it gives you all of the information and stuff that you have there, and it also gives you a direct link and stuff to the permit. You can click on that link, and it will take you directly to that permit, so that you don't have to fumble around our system and that to try to find the right permit and everything else and stuff there. So it's quicker. We give you the direct link so you can go right to it. And also and stuff in that, it tells you stuff that you have, 10 days from the last date of the newspaper publication and that. And actually on our website, there all of our permits that are under review are listed there. And the dates of the newspaper publication and stuff are there. The hang up there is we don't get that information a lot of times until after it's complete. So, but we're working on some ways and stuff like that to try to get that date and stuff like that in there as quickly as possible. But with this information and stuff, also at the bottom, it gives you the environmental protection specialist who's reviewing this. In this case, it's would be Elliot Russell, and a contact phone number and stuff like that, and an email and stuff, so that you get it, you can take a look at this, and you can send your comments and stuff via email directly to Elliot, and they are considered timely and stuff as long as they're there before midnight of the last date of notice. So as I noted, we've discussed the stuff that the e-notify system is sent via email to the participating agency, and in that we can send it to specific offices, which is one of the things we're talking about here. And now we're working with Nikki and Kayla and some of that to create a mailing email list and stuff for soil conservation. And in talking to my IT liaison, we can actually do 2 emails. And that, so what we're hoping and stuff to do is maybe send one directly to the district manager, and then also send one, we can send a second one to another authorized person, and that whether that's a general email for that district office, or if there's an administrative assistant or something there, it can go there. And that we can talk about that and stuff, and that to find out a little bit better and stuff there. But I think what we're going to do is create a Google sheet that we may share and stuff with the agency, and try to keep that up to date. And we'll put that information into our permit system, so that when a certain application comes in a certain area, we can collect that. You got those emails pop up, and we can send them right out directly to the offices and stuff like that, instead of the clunky way and stuff that we used to do it. So, and one of the great things and stuff about this is it reduces paper usage, and also it cuts way down and stuff on mailing costs for both agencies. And under the e-notify system and stuff, and that, like I said, it goes directly to the field office where it needs to go. And our biggest goal is to save days, if not weeks, and stuff in a limited comment period, to ensure that you guys have the maximum time for review and comments that go directly to the EPS.
Hey, Russ, we've got a question from Penny.
Okay.
When will you be updating your notification process? We only get notified from the contractor applying for the permit.
We're doing that right now. So once we get the email list and stuff and that squared away and stuff with soil conservation and stuff, you'll start getting those and stuff immediately. So and that's the next step here, is after today's meeting and that, we'll be working with Nikki and whoever else and stuff to develop that list. But as soon as we have the emails, we can initiate it. So. In that. So does that answer the question?
Looks like it does. Thanks,
Okay,
Russ.
great.
Thanks,
All right. All right. So thanks and stuff. So one of the things and stuff about comments and stuff that DRMS gets and stuff is, like I said, it identifies specific issues and stuff for an application and stuff. And it may be that 90% of the time, the agency is, you guys and stuff will look at it and go, yeah, we know where this is at, and we look at the information and it's fine, and so even if we just get an email back and stuff for that says, you know, we reviewed it and we don't have any comments, that's great, because then if someone from the public says, well, did you talk to them? We can say that we were in correspondence and stuff and that, and they had no comments and stuff, and that counts just as much as no comment at all. And one of the things and stuff is like I talked about, you all have the expertise and stuff in those areas and stuff where you live and work, about soil conservation efforts, revegetation, wildlife impacts, you know, water protection and stuff. These are all important aspects of a reclamation permit. And as I noted before, they're called out in our rules. So they're an exhibit, and that the applicant is supposed to reach out to you. They send a notice and stuff. But a lot of times, like I said, there are exhibits and stuff that are contain older, outdated data, information, if you will. So, and the most important thing is that your comments do carry weight with us, and that if we see something like that, we will send that on to the applicant and we'll look at it and we'll have a discussion and have them reply back and stuff if there's something specific there. But it also carries weight with the public. Sometimes the stuff, comments and stuff can be misinterpreted. And so it's important and stuff in that when we're getting comments and stuff in that we're making sure that we have clear and concise information and stuff so that somebody can't turn around and put either agency in a difficult spot. And so that's kind of a little bit about what we want to talk about a little bit here at the end. So, like I said, the conservation districts and stuff get notices on new applications, and we have also any amendment to a current permit. An amendment is treated almost like a brand new application in our rules. When we get objections, you also get a notice and stuff of what we call a pre-hearing conference, and basically that's where we bring all the parties and stakeholders together and line out the legal process and stuff for bringing this before the Mine Land Reclamation Board. If we have public objections, DRMS and stuff is staffed to our board, and so we have to make a recommendation to the board, and the board makes that final decision. If we don't get any objections, then staff has the authority to approve those applications and move on. And another place and stuff where the conservation districts get notice and comment is when we have an acreage reduction or a release of a mining permit and stuff after it's been fully reclaimed. And I think it's important and stuff for conversations and stuff of that, and maybe we'll dive into it a little bit later and stuff is what the bar is and stuff for full reclamation and also what we look at is stuff when we're looking at acreage reductions. So your comments and stuff that we get from you come into two different categories. One of them is just the general comments and stuff, which is, you know, as noted and stuff, provided and stuff, and that to give us some context and other information and stuff, and that may be helpful and stuff in our review of the applications or release. And the other classification is the objection. That's when comments that come in and stuff contain clear opposition to the issuance of a permit for some reason or the release of an existing operation. So when you're formulating your comments and stuff and that, be mindful of that, of what your intent is. And if we're not sure, we'll reach back out and say, you know, this one, you know, your comments and stuff that have some of this in there, is your intent and stuff to be an objector, which means you become a formal party to our process, or are you just providing comments and stuff in that and stuff for us to consider? So, and as noted in that, any objections and stuff of that have to be scheduled for a hearing before the board.
Hey Russ, we've got a question from Debbie. Can you can you provide the statute with the rules so we can have more information on what we need to provide to them, what the conservation districts need to do?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll make a note of that, and what we'll do is we'll send it to Kayla and stuff in that, and get it out to you guys. And that I don't think I have that down in my other notes and stuff at the end and stuff here, but certainly we can send you the appropriate exhibit rules and stuff of that, so you can see what you've got there and stuff. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit right here on this next slide. But we can give you a specific statute and role and stuff, and that'll be easy enough to do. So
awesome. Thank
you. Within our reclamation permit applications and stuff, one of the things they have to do is do a site description, and that's a general description of the vegetation, soil characteristics, and the type of vegetation and stuff, and the existing topography. In the soils information, that describes the general type, thickness, and distribution of the soil over the affected lands, and it has to address the suitability of the topsoil for establishment and maintaining plant growth. You know, there are some places and stuff in Colorado where there is no topsoil. Let's be honest and stuff there. But there's other places and stuff where it's, you know, several feet thick, And when we are taking a look at it, we want to make sure and stuff that the topsoil and stuff and that is sufficient and treated correctly and stuff, so that when they put it back on and stuff and that there's ample depth for roots and to get established in that, as well as soil or precipitation holding and stuff like that as well. And then revegetation, you know, obviously it assists the development of a reveg plan and stuff and that. I will tell you that when I first started out, you know, it was 3 wheatgrasses and we go, right? And I called that out and stuff and that, and then I got in trouble for saying that that wasn't diverse enough. But now and stuff and that, you know, 20 something years later, we take a very hard look at stuff at what the species and stuff are that are being contemplated. Under our rules and stuff and that, they have to declare what the post-mine land use is going to be. And it could be, there's a variety of things and stuff. It could be commercial industrial, which is, means it's stabilized and stuff so that they can use it for something, build something else on it or something. Or we have ag land and stuff and that, and if they do that, then under the rules and stuff and that, we have to have information and stuff about yields and stuff and that, so that they can be returned and stuff to a level and stuff that it was before. Rangeland is something and stuff that we discussed there. That's it's not really well defined, so it's all over the place. You know, in your expertise and stuff, rangeland and stuff has to probably, if I remember part of a conversation that was being had, has to be able to support so many cattle per acre or whatever, but it's so ill-defined or lightly defined in general that when we look at rangeland and stuff, it just has to be equal to or better than the surrounding area. So, so those are some of the things and stuff that we could probably talk about a little bit more and stuff there here in a second. Go ahead, Michael's got, yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to one of Russ's comments about soils information, you know, of course, there are lots of areas where we have poorly developed soils in the state. I think when we get applications that propose to affect previously undisturbed land, it's generally pretty easy to develop a plan for that. Our rules are prescriptive and say you need to salvage all of that available topsoil, stockpile it, and make it available for final reclamation. But it's also not uncommon that we'll get an application for a mine that is on maybe a previously mined area or a previously disturbed area through some other activity. We'll get a soil report, but then we'll also get some information from the operator where they may say, hey, you know, I don't have any topsoil out here. Which, you know, may be true. It may also be the case that there is topsoil out there. They're just not considering it suitable topsoil, but it's there and there is value to it. And so I think in those instances, that's where some comments from the conservation districts could be of help for us, because even if there is poor topsoil or no topsoil from prior activities, they still have to achieve their proposed post-mining land use, which might require establishment of vegetation. So certainly any recommendations about how to best address a site that's been previously disturbed, or where we're going to have to contemplate amending soil and bringing in organics, things like that, that would be an area where we would certainly defer to your expertise.
Yeah, and that goes back to kind of some site-specific expertise and stuff that you have and stuff for that particular area. What works in one part of the state doesn't necessarily work for the other part. You know what, and that, so maybe they're proposing and stuff to add in some kind of a soil amendment, and you've seen that and stuff tried in other areas and that's had limited success. It's always and stuff better and stuff to have those conversations now as we're looking and reviewing that and suggesting alternatives or having them look at alternatives, as opposed to just approving it and then 20 years down the line and stuff where we're trying to deal with something that's not going to work, and saves everybody a lot of time and money and stuff for that if we're upfront and honest and stuff about that. So as noted and stuff, the QR code and stuff will take you to this site on our website. You can also just go directly to our website and look at that if you want to see that, but that's the link and stuff that's there. I don't know what it will come up like that.
Is it on the next screen? Can we get a screenshot?
Nope.
Go back.
Let's see. Let's see if we can pull it up here. Start with that. All right, there we go. All right, it may have locked everything up, but this is where you come in and stuff and that. This is our mining activity dashboard. You can click on that now and click on that, and that will bring up all the applications and stuff that are under review. It's by county, the general location, who the applicant is, and the name of it. And it goes through and stuff, also has the EPS contact. And as you can see and stuff in that, wherever we have it and stuff in that, the public comments due date and stuff is there. So, so this is all available on our website and stuff, so. And then for amendments in that's the same thing. Those are new applications, this is amendments. And you can kind of see that it's the same exact information, just who, what, where, and how. So, and then there's other links and stuff for public participation and also electronic documents. You can go in there, and that's where you can look at an entire file and stuff on a permit by using the permit number and stuff. So, all right, let's see if we can get out of here if it didn't lock us up. All right, cool. All right. So we're to that point and stuff and that where we're at questions and answers, and that, so we'll get out of sharing screen here, and so we can see everybody. Over there. Let's see here. Okay.
Just figure out how to stop sharing. Oh, we did.
We did. Okay. All right. So Marissa, it looks like you have a question.
Hi, so I'm my NRCS computer today just stopped working or didn't work. And so I was watching this on my phone and I just got back into a regular desktop. So I saw that there was something, you know, you were using something to me as an example, but I couldn't really see it. So I'll have to go back and watch this on a bigger screen. So this is on our agenda for the next board meeting. I think it was when you were talking about electronic notifications. So my first question, you have not started the electronic notifications, correct?
We have, and where we can, and that. So where we've had a few emails to send them to, and we so it's kind of scattered and stuff. So we have a couple of notices and stuff, districts and stuff that have gotten them by the electronic notice, and the other ones and stuff are still been hard copy. But that's our goal and stuff, is to get everybody and stuff on the soil conservation and stuff on the email.
Because I have Teller and Park County, so I am, you know, getting these quite frequently, and getting the notifications would greatly help the process, because we're rural. I have to go to the post office and get the mail. I don't go all the time, and sometimes I get them way after the fact of when we could comment. The other thing is the board wants to know what are our duties. I know we have the ability for public for having a comment on these things, but I'm a district with one employee, and so I don't have the scientific knowledge. Sometimes I don't even know exactly where they're located in my district because the district is so big. I need more technical assistance, and our NRCS is spread so thin. I don't know where to go to even have an opinion. So that's a big question, or a big problem for me here, because I'm only a 3-day a week and I'm running about 3 other grant processes. So I just don't have any time to go look at these areas.
And
So I guess that's kind of A, what are our responsibilities? B, how do I get the technical assistance or even the knowledge to know that we could or should have an opinion on this particular mining project?
Well, you know what, maybe starting with B, we could certainly take some time and just set up a side discussion where maybe we could walk you through some of our websites specifically, help you learn how to navigate and find the pertinent information, because admittedly within an application, they can be quite large. There'll be a lot of information that you may not be interested in there, but they should be, this information is packaged into exhibits, so that makes it easier to pull that out. And then further, our lead EPS for any respective county is also a resource. And so we understand and appreciate having to work with limited resources and trying to get a lot done. For folks that are in that situation in a county or a conservation district like that, no problem with reaching out to the specialist and just having a chat. And maybe a quick chat will let you know whether or not you have any concerns or even need to file a comment on that, or, you know, like Russ said, maybe just a quick response that no concerns noted. So we'd be willing to do that just to help you work within our system a little bit better.
And
Can we do a side? I'd be really happy if we could just do a side meeting sometime, just do a 15-minute, maybe walk me through and do a Zoom. Just if you could take that time, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. We can reach out, and I'll probably include Elliot Russell, who's the lead specialist up there, and would be good for him to have that contact, and we can sit down and just kind of walk you through all that. So I'll pass that along to Elliot, and we can reach out, schedule that for you.
And we have spoken periodically through the years, so that's great. I just want to have better answers for my board.
You bet. Yeah, and maybe Michael,
right.
You can put the emails and stuff in the chat and stuff like that for.
Absolutely.
Or we can get it to you later.
I'll put my email in there, and then I'll add Elliot's email to the chat. And then, you know, for the first question, I think it's a good question about responsibilities. I really, you know, we value and want your expertise in the form of comments, but the reason we do anything we do is, you know, guided by our rules and our regulations. So, you know, from that, it's really up to the individuals that receive these notices to kind of decide what they want to present to us, how much time and effort goes into these. You know, we deal with a lot of different agencies, and the nature and the type of comments we get back can vary broadly, depending on the nature of the project, resources available, things like that. So I'd say really all we ask for folks to do is do the best you can with the resources that you have. You may not be able to provide a meaningful comment on every permitting action. We understand that, but we can also help you kind of identify what might be the more important permitting actions that are on our desk and ones that you would be interested in as well.
Yeah, and like up in Park County, so that, you know, some of that, some of those permits and stuff are on previously disturbed sites and stuff. You know, through your own knowledge and stuff, and that those kind of sites and stuff and that are probably going to have less of an impact and stuff on soils and stuff than ones and stuff that are undisturbed lands. But on the same token, those are the ones also that without soil, they're going to have to be trying to figure out how to create and build up some kind of a soil medium and stuff. And maybe you have suggestions and stuff that would work better up there. And like I said, what's great about our state, if you will, and stuff like that is we have such a wide variety, and that, you know, everything from canyon lands over and on western slope and stuff all the way up to high alpine and stuff. So each one of the soil districts and stuff has their own expertise in a certain elevations and climate, and those are the kinds of things and stuff that help us and stuff, and that will be kind of comments back and stuff. So.
And we do see the additional comments from Debbie and Mariah. Thank you. Looks like there's probably a greater interest, and so maybe we can coordinate Kayla, figure out, what subgroup of folks might be interested, and then just set something up. Again, just kind of a free form meeting, walk you through some stuff, and happy to do that.
Yeah, we're more than glad to do that.
Okay, great. And I think that there may be broader interest as well for folks who aren't on this meeting too. And so we'd be happy to help set up something like that at CSCB, just a quick tutorial of going through the website and those resources, like you said. And we do have an additional question from Penny. In the past, we emailed comment, is there a different requirement now for the e-permitting process? Do we need to upload it to the website?
No, if you email it to the specialist, then that's their responsibility and something that to get it into the public file. So that doesn't change your process at all. And going back to other subjects and stuff, and that I think that you have a meeting in December. And that maybe that would be an opportunity for a breakout session or something. That not trying to put more work on Michael, but it might be an opportunity if we can't put something together or something next month or so. So
that's a great point. And that's in reference to the CACD annual meeting down in Colorado Springs. And so that will be one of the breakout sessions. And I think that's a great point to include that because there will be a wide scope of folks attending that. So I think that's a great idea.
And we could do both. We could just do it with this group and then maybe take that and incorporate it into some discussions and stuff of that for December. So
perfect.
All right, what else?
But please don't just limit it to because some of us can't attend that meeting.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a look at stuff and we'll put something together and then we'll get with Kayla and we'll see if we can't pinpoint a date and stuff of that to get back together and stuff on a separate talking group. All right. Any other questions? Make it easy on us. So. Okay, I think that for our next steps for us is we'll be working with Kayla and Nikki and stuff to develop that email list and stuff for all of the districts. And that, like I said, you can have up to 2 emails, so we can send it directly to the district manager, and we can also send it to somebody else. So that way you're ensured that that each district and stuff at least has 2 avenues and stuff in that of getting the notice as quickly as possible. And then from there, it'll be in your hands and stuff. And as always, if you get the notice and you're not too sure how much time you have, reach out to the specialist and stuff that's in that notice, and they will probably be able to give you a ballpark figure of when that comment period and stuff will close. And that if you have any questions and that. So like I said, with the 110s, there's 10 days from their publication. So by doing this process, you may have, 13, 14 days and stuff like that. Sometimes it takes them up to a week to get started on that process. And then of course on 112s and that it's more like a 6-week process. So you have a lot more time. So
Russ, just to add on to the email addresses, one of the challenges we've had for folks that are already in our system that do have email addresses is, of course, if you're using your own personal email address or work email, when people switch positions or retire, that can cause some issues in that we don't know until we get a bounce back. Sometimes we don't get a bounce back and it's just going to a email address out there that nobody's checking. So perfectly fine to set it up to have it go to a specific person. You may want to consider that for that second email, it goes to a more general email, one that's not going to change with personnel changes. Just that way, in case somebody leaves, there's a likelihood somebody else will see that. And then from there, we can always update addresses. That's simple enough. Just reach out and we'll update our system.
Yep. That's a good one. All right. Well, great. Everybody, have a great day, and we will be talking to you soon.
Excellent. Thank you, Russ and Michael. We so appreciate it. We'll be sure to share your contact information and a copy of these slides with folks as well, just for reference. But we so appreciate your time, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.